Ready. Play.
Iga Swiatek came through her match against Christian 6-2, 7-5. Set 2 was obviously I wouldn't say a struggle, but it was a lot closer. The furthest that Swiatek's been pushed this tournament so far, wasn't it, Damian?
Yeah, I mean, I think Christian gave an inspired performance for sure. You can definitely look at it both ways. Iga is not dominating the opening week at Roland Garros as she usually is, but at the same time, she got a lot of good reps in today against an opponent who was really, well, first of all, serving very well, but also in the rallies was just not shying away from anything really. And I think she still showed a lot of just how different her game is at this event with these big courts, with so much time on her shots. I think she was super fun to watch as well with all the angles and, using the physicality as we usually would like her to, but it's not always happening. So yeah, I think it was a very good, warm up for the next round. Of course, it's better for her that it's going to be Rybakina than Ostapenko, because it seemed like in the last two matches, especially this year, she found something against Elena, was able to start moving her around a lot more and basically get to do that at least regularly. But nonetheless, I think this was a really good sort of preparation for latter stages moment, and just a lot of tough work, honestly, almost 2 hours, I think, for the two sets.
And Damian, obviously talking about reps there, is it good that, she's kind of had that tight set after the season? She hasn't had her greatest clay season that she would have liked to have had defending all those points, Carson. So, that coming through that tight set's a big confidence booster for her, right?
It's not a bad thing at all. I think she would prefer to be winning 1-0 in all of her sets, but yeah, it's not a bad thing to get one of these sets out of the way still relatively early on in the tournament. She hopes to go quite a bit further from here. Christian was very good today, put up a great challenge, especially in the second set, and Iga had to go earn this one. And she ended up pulling this out late. So it's a really good win for her, and a much bigger challenge coming up now. But yeah, the match against Rybakina will be very interesting.
Yeah, and looking forward to that Rybakina match. Is Swiatek there was obviously that press conference that we were talking about before this stream that was obviously talking about, Swiatek said in the interview that she won't be looking at the Rybakina Ostapenko match, and obviously that was a lie. Is she kind of, obviously Rybakina is one of 5 people before this season, 5 people to have beaten Swiatek on clay in Rome in 23, was it?
Yeah, the quarters in 23, yeah.
Yeah. So is that kind of sitting in the back of Iga's mind, or is it, for Roland Garros, so full throttle for Iga ahead of this matchup, Vansh?
Yeah, I don't know how much she'll be looking at the Rome match, because she was up, 6-2, 4-2, and it looked like she was going to win that. And then, the second set got a little complicated. She had that injury and she retired 2 games into the third. So I think in her mind, she'll feel like, okay, for 85-90% of that match, I was able to move Rybakina around. I was able to play my usual sort of heavy topspin, high margin tennis. And she does have I think the test today was really good for her, because in the first set against Christian, she basically just only had to worry about herself and just play her normal brand of tennis without thinking about the opponent. But in the second set, when the opponent actually stepped up, that's when she was forced to just construct points a lot better and use the width of the court, and it was a lot more thinking that she had to do on the spot, and she saved 6 break points out of 6 and didn't get broken. So that was a good test for her, because it didn't end up going 3, and she still had to battle for an hour 20 minutes. And so I think from a mental standpoint, that's pretty good. Obviously a very different opponent in Rybakina in the next round, and Rybakina is in great form herself, but overall Iga should still feel like, okay, I'm coming into this with a lot of positive things, even if my clay season hasn't gone nearly as well as I would have wanted or anybody hoped for. It's still, she's got the history at this event. She's got the recent history against Elena. She's got the test that she needed in the third round. So Yeah, I mean, overall, she would have prepared this much more than Ostapenko. She made that pretty clear in the press conference, even though she didn't directly say it. It was like she was caught red-handed almost by the journalists in the room. So
absolutely. And Damian, I think it was maybe on day 3 of Last Ball Drops, you were saying that you're not going to say that we're going to get an Ostapenko Iga round 4 because you just don't back Ostapenko to, make. You can't call it, you said, because you just don't know what you're going to get when Ostapenko steps onto the court. And today specifically, was there anything that went wrong for Ostapenko?
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it. I think, there are definitely better rounds, better tournaments that kind of show it, because she tends to lose to basically anybody if she has a very bad day at the office. Today it was Rybakina, so, I still respect Elena a lot. It's also been a conversation of the past, like, half a year, how high are we still treating Rybakina? Is she still like top 5 level wise or not? I have her like thereabouts. So yeah, I don't think to lose to an opponent like this, something has to go necessarily wrong for her. Obviously, yeah, it would have been maybe a slightly better narrative, slightly better story if she got to play Iga. But I think in the end, that's also a pretty difficult opponent. I think I said in a tweet today that like Swiatek was able to use all the time she has on this court at this event today, but then the test will be next round when she has none of it. And against Rybakina, she doesn't quite have none of it. She kind of has some of it. Also, to answer the question that Jake wanted me to answer, I don't think so. I think it would have been difficult to win set 1 easier than she did. But probably maybe she like closes it out a little bit quicker just before Christian, gets going by this match. But I don't think a 1-0, but I guess I'm a supporter of the theory that she could have closed it out a little quicker last year, yeah.
Does Rybakina she obviously won the title in Strasbourg and, she's, kind of swept through the opening 3 rounds here. Well, she didn't quite sweep through her first round match, but she made it through her first round match. Does she have a lot of confidence going into this Iga match, Carson?
I think so. What does this say? 9-match winning streak now. So it's 8 matches.
8.
Yeah, 8. So again, that's not something that can hurt her at all. And yeah, has had matches against Iva Jovic, who that wasn't the easiest match to come through either necessarily, and then Ostapenko in this one. So I think she's got some confidence. I think this match, though, is going to be a really good tell for where these two players are headed the rest of the season. If one of them looks fantastic or if both of them look really well. I just think it's going to be interesting and kind of like a match that we could look back at in 5 or 6 months and say, remember that when that happened, it was kind of like a turning point for someone's season.
Yeah. And I kind of feel that, Iga, I think it was it Dave that said that Iga will have, I think French Open fever was the words he used, and kind of sweep past Rybakina. And it actually wouldn't surprise me if she does, but I feel like Rybakina has more in the tank to give than Iga to sweep past. She doesn't quite give you that time on court to, exactly put the ball where you want to. And the backhand battle is won by Rybakina, then things can get pretty close, because that's where I think things are probably the closest in terms of matching up them directly. But yeah, it should be very interesting, but I still favour Iga, I think.
Elena Rybakina has also beaten Iga Swiatek on the clay in Stuttgart, as well as the result that was mentioned when she overcame Swiatek in Rome, albeit obviously a debilitated Iga, who ultimately retired before Elena went on to the title. But regarding that Stuttgart match, it was an exciting match and one where Rybakina prevailed. We also spoke to both players after that match, and I think we can listen to their thoughts now, albeit it was a year ago, and reflect upon those thoughts ahead of their French Open clash.
Elena, congratulations, you're into your first final here in Stuttgart. Talk us through that match, because it was quite epic.
Yeah, it was a very tough match, like always, against Iga, and really happy that I won on clay. Gives confidence, of course. Yeah, I was serving much better today. I think just because also you play against such a good player that you know that every point counts, and I was pushing myself. And first 2 matches I was adapting a bit to the conditions, to the balls, and maybe I was serving a little bit more passive. And today I was going for the serve. I was trying to change it a little bit. So yeah.
Diego with the serve, but I'd also like to talk to you about your return today, which I thought maybe that's the best you've returned, certainly this tournament, but I thought your return was amazing today. Can you tell us a bit about that?
I think the return definitely improved from last year, from both angles, and of course it depends on the opponent, a bit of the speed of the serve and of course placement. But yeah, since we played with Iga many times, more or less I try to predict where she's gonna go, and really happy with the return and overall with the game. She has very good second serve, good spin, so it pushes you out of the court, so it's not easy to step in.
Was it even more difficult to play Iga here, knowing that she has lost a match at this tournament?
Yeah, of course. For me, last 2 times I was coming, it was not that successful, the tournament, and I was playing Fed Cup, also traveling a lot. But this time I prepared much better, and of course she likes the courts. For me, it's a little bit difficult to move. It's really slippery, and you need to be very strong. And for now, I'm happy that I managed to pull off these 3 matches, and even today, this 3-set battle, I managed to win.
Elena, you are one of Iga's most uncomfortable opponents. What gives you this advantage in matches against her? The tournament magazine named you as a player with a poker face. Maybe this one?
I think it's just style of the game, and Iga, she moves really well and she likes to dominate in the rally, and with me it's difficult because I play fast, I play flatter, and also like to move the opponent, so it's kind of I think matchup where we're both pushing each other, we're both trying to dominate in the point. So I think of course also my serve helps a lot. That's why some matches I win, some matches I lose, but it's always tough for her to play against me and for me to play against her.
Iga, it's not the result you would have wanted today, but just talk us through your thoughts on the match, and especially what you thought Elena did really well today.
Well, she played better than me, obviously. It's hard right now for me to analyze what specifically was better. For sure, she served better. I didn't serve well in the 3rd set, so yeah, so that's a shame. But at least I know what I can work on, and we'll focus on that.
You've had some good wins against Elena, including this year, but you've also had some losses. What is it that Elena does that you think you find most tricky or difficult?
Well, there's no one specific thing. I just think, honestly, she's probably me, Arena, and her are the best players on tour, honestly. And she had struggled with some injury, but every time she's healthy, she is playing well. So, so there are, specific aspects of her game that are, hard, but, I wouldn't say there's one specific. She's a good player, that's all.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.